Hello,
Oh,
everyone. Welcome to Design Therapy number 16. And today it's why am I here? Because I'm going to host Keone. We're going to change it a bit
okay.
just to make it to freshen things up. So, welcome to Design Therapy 16. Bienvenido. Hola, ni hao, bonjour, yo, whatever introduction or wherever you are from where you're sitting in your Zoom screen. Welcome to the system and welcome to Design Therapy. So,
Yay.
this is again brought to you by the System and Core Brand Discovery Foundations. You can visit coreismagic.com to get more info on that. But your facilitators today, I'm Patricia Maliksi from Manila, Philippines. I believe in positivity, encouragement, and consistency. And with me as my co-facilitator and co-host, Mr. Pape. Are you
Hello,
ready?
my name is Pape. I'm based in Panama City, or as I like to call it, a small paradise in Central America. I'm an artist, a creative person, slash muralist, slash pizzaiolo. I like to feel, I like to create, and I like to flow a lot. I just go with what my heart and my consciousness dictates, and I'm here to listen to you and have fun.
To be specific, we're here to collaborate and co-create. And with that, our theme for today is first, let's go to our mission. Our mission is to activate, educate, and support a decentralized global creative community in finding their purpose, growing their careers, and leading the future. And our vision is to redesign the world from the inside out. So, this is co-creation and you're witnessing it live. So for our agenda, can you go to the other slide, please? Okay, what's our agenda for this for Friday morning? And I think it's Saturday morning for me. Drop in at 15 minutes. We have the download at 10. Our theme is social learning, and we'll hear more about that later from each other, and we're excited about that. The upload, 10 minutes, and music and no cookies because Jose is not allowed to eat cookies. And please, our broadcast, we have Mondays Clubhouse at 5:30 PDT and 8:30 EDT, Wednesday core office hours at the usual time slot at 11 a.m. PDT, Friday, which is what's happening right now, Design Therapy at 11 a.m. PDT, and the System podcast. Please subscribe on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. If someone, I think we'll share the link later so that you can subscribe to it. And starting in June, Design Therapy, a few announcements. Design Therapy is twice a month. Office hours, the same schedule weekly. And starting in July, both broadcasts will be for Accelerator members only. So if you want to know more about Accelerator,
We'll talk about the Accelerator a little bit at the end, but yeah, we're going to change the broadcast schedule. We're not 100% yet on what's inside, what's outside. Okay. We're working on that. We worked on it this week.
But please email Keone for any questions regarding the Accelerator program. So, the exciting part of today's broadcast, my favorite, not just because I'm a surfer and I know the drop-in, but the drop-in is please state your name, location, what you do. So our question for today's drop-in is, what could you teach right now if you felt empowered? And what do you need to learn that others could share with you? So I'll model it. My name is Patricia Maliksi from Manila, Philippines. I'm a brand strategist, previously an account manager before I made the jump. And what could I teach right now if I felt empowered? I feel like client management and client engagement because I'm not a designer. I came from a marketing background. And so what do I need to learn that others could share with you? I feel like I would like to learn more about how designers work, how I can be inclusive with the process, the co-creation, the collaboration, and how can I be effective in doing my my superpower, which is client management and brand strategy. So who wants to drop in next? How about you, Pape? You go next since you're my co-host.
Thank you, Patricia. So I'm Pape. I'm based in Panama City. As I said before, I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I've currently been working a lot in brand strategy and also doing some illustration in the side, trying to get back into that, mostly working on illustration. What I would teach to empower others would be how to discover yourself through creativity. I think that's something that I've managed to get a handle really well through meditation, through like being really conscious. I believe like that my creative journey and everyone's creative journey is connected with their inner journey. So I would love to be a guide in that process for other artists, upcoming artists, to help them make their dreams reality and make art their living as a business and as a lifestyle. And something that I would love to learn in this journey that I'm in would be more project management. I would like to get a handle of that and how to working on as a team and not on my own, how to delegate more to a team and working in co-creation as we're doing here. And I'm Pape and I'm complete.
Thank you, Pape. Now we have, if you want, you can raise your hand if you want to drop in, or please drop in on our chat. We encourage everyone to please participate. This is co-creation. So, Ars, would you like to drop in? And then we'll have Sarah next.
Hi everyone, my name is Arsenije Savic. I'm from Belgrade, Serbia. I'm creative and I'm doing the strategy and development. So what could I teach right now? I think probably the theme of my community and podcast that we are doing is usually around how we can empower creatives to go beyond just aesthetical skills. I think you can say it's how to empower creatives to have more leadership skills. So that's probably one of the things that I'm doing right now. And also I think, as Pape said, how you can make a living from your creative work. And when it comes to the skills, I think probably facilitate to upgrade facilitation skills and ways how to activate people more online.
Thank you so much, Ars. That is beautiful, and we're excited for what's to come for your community. Now, for our next drop-in, Sergio.
Hello, Sergio here, based in Buenos Aires, Argentina. What could I teach right now if I felt empowered? I think strategic thinking. I'm also not a designer, as Patricia said. I know a thing or two about design, but I don't consider myself a designer, but I do consider myself a strategist. And what do I need to learn that others could share with me? I think I'm craving to learn agile project management. I think I'm fascinated by that, and it's like the main topic of interest for me at this point of my life. So thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Super grateful with you or with the community. I'm Sergio and I'm complete.
I love the outro. Okay, thank you, Sergio. And we are a fan of Agile. No, because my last name is literally Agile in English. So, Iwana, please drop in.
Hi everyone. I'm gonna take it a bit slower because I'm out of practice. I'm Iwan. I'm from Brasov, Romania. It's in Transylvania. I know it sounds like very exotic, like no, where vampires live.
I want to suck your blood.
Yeah, it's actually like the city where Vlad the Impaler has one of his main one of his main castles. Like it's a 4-minute drive from where I live.
That's awesome.
It took me kind of 10 years to get here. I mean, doing the business started from freelancing with my husband and our partner, Alina. And I have three directions that I'm looking at now. I'm looking at, I don't like to call it brand strategy. I call it brand consolidation. I'm becoming a process maniac, and I'm an artist. I do illustrations. And here in school, when you start with art, you learn at least 4 things in the first year, and then in university the same. So it kind of have like an eclectic approach. So you hone many skills. Sometimes it's difficult to communicate these skills. And I think 2 years ago, I read Darren Hardy's Compound Effect, and there was this worksheet, and it said, name 3 things that you think you're good at and you like about yourself. It was so troublesome. And there was another list, like name 3 things that you're bad at and you could improve. Like, oh my God, did I go to town on that other list? What I could be teaching if I felt empowered would be a process of your business. I have done it with a few people, and the way this works, I teach it once and you could use it for a lifetime. It's focused on your main offerings and how you structure it and what outputs the clients get. Niche clustering, because I had trouble finding my own niche, and I found another exercise, not the old vertical horizontal niching. And maybe even jewelry making or drawing chibis, because I'm a anime nerd. It wasn't cool when I was in art school. And what I could learn from other people, I want to learn how to help people and create more of an impact so that they feel accelerated, ignited to embrace who they are and to start bringing value to other people. Setting healthier boundaries with myself, my clients, in relationships. Learning long-term thinking, which is awkward to say. This is like a more recent discovery, because we were kind of in scarcity mode and survival mode for a long time, and I realized I don't really know how to think long term. And expressing needs, challenges in a better way, and how to eliminate bias from design and conversations, and how to be a better service in a community. Thank you for letting me share and for hearing the long message.
I just wanted to
Thank you for sharing, Ivana.
That's beautiful, because you have so much to offer, and I think that's the beauty of the social learning and the community that we have. We're here to help each other. We are each other's teachers, and so we're excited for what's to come. And thank you for your beautiful drop in. We want to hear from you more. And now let's go into Tino. Tino, want to drop in?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pape. Good job on you guys, hosting it. This is awesome, and proud of you guys. Pape was in my first circle, and it's awesome to see him as one of the presenters here. It's really cool. So just wanted to say that to start. And yeah, so my name is Tino. I'm from Los Angeles. I live in Los Angeles, and one thing that I can teach, a couple of things I can teach. Some of the basics are like UX design strategy, almost anything that has to do with the basics of UX, user experience. I have some experience in that. There's also some life things that I can help teach the group, like intermittent fasting. That's something that I took up to improve my health, my physical health, my being, and my mental health as well. And also how to overcome some, personal trauma, some personal, adversities, and how to kind of, sort of more or less get back on your feet after those, kind of, physical, big drops. I've gone through, hospitalizations, I've gone through seizure disorders, but I've come back, and I've, always come back hungrier than ever as far as wanting to do more. So now I want to, learn. That's why I'm here with the community. I want to learn how to do even more as far as doing more with my comeback. So I feel like I came back, but I came back to what I was doing before. And I want to do better. I want to do greater. I want to, be more and be what I feel like I can be. So, I came back, I'm at a 9 to 5 at a job, but I want to be more. I want to, do better, work for my passion, do something that I love, do something perhaps on my own or with a team or co-creatively, like with you guys here. So those are things that I want to learn. And I think a big part of that is getting over some insecurities, getting over some imposter syndrome, being that I'm a little bit on the older side of the group. I'm 43. I feel sometimes that I'm a little over the hill, even though I know that I'm not, but sometimes those insecurities creep up on you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they do. So I want to, kind of get over some insecurities that I have, and just kind of get vibing with the group, get rolling on projects, on fun stuff, creative stuff, productive stuff. And so that's it. Yo soy Tino, and I'm complete.
Tino. Snaps for Tino. Oh, what a beautiful drop in Tino. I just wanted to say that it's not the energy, it's not the age, it's the energy. So he's still young to us. No, I'm kidding. Okay, Pape, how about you read some drop in from our chat?
Yes, so Christina. Hi, I'm Christina Testana, graphic design and illustration. If I could teach something, it would be art, design, and organizing your life and headspace. I need to learn more about business and finances and being more independent. Thank you for sharing that, Christina. Let me see. That's how it's find it.
Your time.
Borj.
Going slow today.
So now we go with Borj Maliksi in Manila, Philippines, creative director. If I can teach anything, it's contribute ways of finding inspiration. I want to learn more about structuring, brainstorming sessions remotely. Cassie, Goodyear, Arizona, USA. Brand strategies and CEO. I love teaching. I would love to teach how to make decisions. I need to learn sales. And now we go with Colleen Kiyoko. I hope I pronounced that well. Sorry, Colleen. Visual designer with a thing for Asian American studies. I could teach you how to doggy. I need to learn how to listen more and ask better questions. I need to learn what doggy or doji means.
You got to learn how to doggy, baby. Learning how to doggy. It's the dance.
Somebody post a link. Post a link, please.
Okay. Sorry.
Somebody has to model it.
Colleen, go for it. Okay, so Keone, downtown LA, cultural architect, brand futurist, brand purpose, strategy, how to scale knowledge to social learning circles more effectively. I'm guessing that's what you would teach, and that's what you're teaching us here in the system. Thank you, Keone, for that. Titus, he's Peruvian, based in the Canary Islands, brand designer, teaching surfing. Teaching surfing to everyone and its deep meaning. Learn how to manage project with teams. You would have fun here in Panama. Yeah. Who else? Adriana Itzel from Mexico City. I'm a designer with a passion for photography and transitioning to brand strategies. I believe that I could teach right now. Blah, blah. I believe that I could teach right now is to help people to understand their powers and encourage them to feel comfortable with who they are. That thanks to the thanks to the system, and I could learn more on how to work more as a team, learn to be impeccable with the word and ask better questions. Thanks for that share, Adriana. Yeah, and I think are we
Good.
cool with that, Patricia?
Yes. Thank you,
Yeah,
Pape. You did amazing. So our next on our agenda is a download, and I'd like to hand it over to Jose or Keone for the download.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Patricia. You know, the recommendation, and I don't have my mic today, but I hope I sound okay. To read the quote, because we've been talking a lot and researching social learning. But I'll do a drop in before I do the quote. I have tried to figure out, like, what is it that I give, right? What's my gift that I can teach if I was, fully empowered? And I think, a large part of it is just the ability to collaborate and share and empower and have all of us, but myself included, feel sufficient to share our story, almost like a catalyst for expression and helping give permission to the people around me to be themselves and to remix, their careers. I would love to teach an astrology class. That would be fun. Finding your voice, really, it's like what I think I can, facilitating in flow and in unity. Those are things. I think in terms of learning, we're teaching and we're learning at the same time. It's like, I'm good at community, I'm good at this. We're learning a lot of things about scaling and about co-creation and about making powerful requests and about doing what you're strong at and asking for help and other things. Those are things that I could definitely, that I've been looking at, that I've been learning from the work with the community. How to be powerful in your request, how to lead in an integrated way, meaning, with both masculine and feminine energy, with both inclusion and, call it the way of the grandma. Like, my grandma was very loving and very kind and, accepting. But at the same time, you didn't want to disappoint her. And if she looked at you in a certain way, you were like, oh my God, yes, grandma, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. But it came from love. It didn't come from fear or from expectation. And you could feel that, which is why I felt so bad not to make sure that, you were doing good for your grandma. But the drop-in comes from Albert Bandura, who wrote a lot of work on the theory of social learning, and the quote is, "Learning is bidirectional. We learn from the environment, and the environment learns and is modified for actions." So if you look at our mission, of just being the catalyst and empowering, and that our vision is to redesign the world from the inside out, it's that idea of, if you take it to the Wu side, so above, so below, the environment learns and it's modified thanks to our actions. Meaning that as we grow our ideas, as we grow our businesses, as we grow our life, if we share it as we're going along, it's actually writing, other people's lives. Like last night I had a picnic with a group of friends, my ex-wife's kind of wizards in friends in Pasadena at Caltech. And, I already follow one of them on Instagram, and already the work that they're doing has influenced my work and my creativity. And I'm like, we live in an era where, like, you might be just sitting here at a circle in a picnic, but you're giving each other so much by authentically sharing your stories. And I had a conversation with some of her friends about that authenticity. A lot of people give it a label or try to say, authenticity is good, etc. But it's really the willingness to be brave, to share the truth and to share your story and to share where you are and just to flow and to be real, etc. both in what you do well, but also in where you struggle and where you're challenged. If you're familiar with our drop-ins, and we do it in our co-working, we do it when we do work sessions, we always drop in. You know, there isn't like I don't want to be a guru. I don't want to be like, you follow me because what I'm telling you, the skills and the knowledge is what you should do. I want to be able to say, here's my life and here's where I'm headed. And as I share it, I learn from you because you're sharing yours too. Thank you for sharing. So I'm listening to listen, and I'm listening to understand, you know, and I'm listening to heal in community, you know, because your story is my story, you know, like sounds like a Barney song. I love you, you love me, we're a happy family. And at the end of the day, there's only one law, one rule, one, like, you know, and it's why we fervently follow One Piece, you know, in anime, and it's been broadcast through anime a lot, that it's unity, camaraderie, community. It's community. Like at the end of the day, you can talk about like skills, you can talk about building a business, you can talk about whatever it is. And Pape and Patricia, at the beginning of the session, we have a little pre session, and they kind of brought it home. They said, no, dude, this is it. This is it. We're not building anything. This is it. Like, here we are, and this is it. It's already here. So it's almost like this law of manifestation, where you don't like say, I want to, it is. And I wrote one last thing this like week while I was kind of reflecting and inspired by Pape. What I see is who I am, and who I am is what I see. So your reality is just really created and constructed by, you know, your being, not your doing. And then that's such a confusing thing, because people are like, what? You got to do shit. You can't be lazy. You got to focus. You got to grind. You got to go, you got to build some stuff. But beyond like the actions and the, you know, clarity that has to be created for someone, for me personally, who I am requires love, requires acceptance, requires no fear, requires openness, requires belief, requires, you know, community in order to enact the ideas. So it's a real kind of like hat trick to create from the space of being, not from the space of doing, while still needing to do and prioritize and learn project management and ensure that, you know, the things that need to get done are getting done, and ensure focus. So that's, I think, where I am, and with the love, acceptance, and powerful skills Mary has in project management. You know, our planning session on Friday was amazing. Working to prioritize all the ideas that I might have or that we might have, and bring in my gift of synthesis and of product management. You know, I'm really good at doing it for other people, so I'm learning to treat myself as good as I treat my clients. I'm learning to be almost like compassionate, and not kind of say it from a like, dude, you're like that, you're doing this, you're bad. No, when a client is having troubles and is challenged, and they're like, well, we're gonna give you money so you can help us with your troubles, I realize that compassion and saying it's okay, the way that I treat them, is so far from how I've treated myself. You know, like I have these judgments and these expectations of myself that are like almost like the saboteur, you know, telling you, you know, perfectionism, etc. Or, you know, and that chokes you up. You know, that really, like, it doesn't allow me to like move forward. And if I'm in fear, it's hard for me to make the jump. So I have to kind of stay in a constant vibrational state of love and acceptance, and instead of the harsh container of, you need to finish this by this date, and you know. So it's a little bit of both. And I'm Jose Caballer, and I am complete with my download. I love you guys.
Can we do snaps for Jose? So, what's the next on the agenda? That was beautiful. I think it's the social learning.
Well, let's continue riffing on that. I mean, I'm sure that, you know,
maybe
Pape will have.
Yeah,
go for it, Pape.
Before going into that, I would like to read Andrea's, what she just posted. We're like Instagram friends, She's really into NFTs. She's an amazing artist as well, and also lives in Panama. So Panama energy is always in the house. But I think you're from Venezuela. She's from Venezuela. So Andrea, aka Ava, I say I live in the Ava universe, but I'm originally from Venezuela. Grew up in Connecticut, and now I'm between Panama and Miami. I can teach how to use art to heal, feel the groove, and enjoy the process. I need to learn to have some structure and have a healthier lifestyle. Just wanted to share that because to welcome her for being here. Thank you for being here. And just to connect with Jose's conversation and what you just said, I believe learning is bidirectional. That's why we're always the master, the professor and the student at all times. And how I approach my life as a learner is I'm always in touch with how I'm feeling in a certain situation. And I remember really well how I felt during the first circle, when I remember I said, like, I'm a creative director, and I was just like building up my ego. And then when we got into the situation where I had no control, and it's like I had to move along with the process, and just to taking accountability of how I was feeling and being able to understand that it was my ego building up expectations, that it wasn't really me. And I was learning, and if I chose to just feed that fake ego and not being honest with myself, I could have not get the lesson that Andrew was giving to me, that he was really getting into a landing page, something that I've never done, and he was showing me the way. But I was also, I believe, in a certain, I was vulnerable, and I opened up and I said, you know what, this is how I'm feeling. And I believe in some way, I believe that I also taught him how to be that, you know? So the conversation is always open. And I do see storytelling as the most powerful tool and the oldest tool we've had as human beings. And the amazing thing is when you have a conversation and people are telling their stories, it's like they're opening up their hearts and you're going in and they're being vulnerable. And the best conversations is where the doors are always open. When you can go in and you can go outside, you can, and I call that time traveling. Like when I listen stories, and for example, when I listen to Jose's story and I see myself reflected in your story, I'm traveling myself into the future, and I'm getting to see what's coming, and I'm getting to see that I will face the same struggles of self-doubt and fear, and that what can I do today to protect myself or to build the character to arrive at that point in my life and just keep living, because I cannot choose not to live. And as I said, it's not something that you try, you just live, you just are. So, and that also came from a conversation in Panama City at the beach. This crazy Scottish dude, he just told me, oh, stop trying, just be it. And it was like, yeah, I will stop trying to be a brand strategist. I am a brand strategist. I am creative, and I'm damn powerful, you know, and I truly believe it. Humbly, because I know I have a lot to learn, but I know my power, and I'm ready to tell my story and share everything I've learned for the past 30 years. That's been a great journey. If you heard the podcast with Roxana in Spanish, go for it. There's some of it there, but there's still a lot to be told. So I'm Pape, and I'm complete.
Thank you, Pape. I feel like whatever you say, the woo is what we need here. So we love you for that. Please keep doing you. And now let's go create, motherfuckers.
So like Samuel L. Jackson could say that phrase.
Pardon my French. Pardon my French. But yeah, let's talk about social learning. And from today's conversation, like how I'd like to start the conversation like, how can we help each other, or what do you need help with? Someone can raise their hand from the drop-ins.
Like specific. You're saying like, hey, let's be really specific on like what needs to. Yeah, that's a really good one. Go to the next slide, Keone, real quick. There's one with friends. I'm going to talk about this. I'm the teacher.
Love that, Jeff.
I am thinking, like what Papa just dropped in, his story, that the learnings of the specificity are there if we listen. So for an example, what I was thinking in terms of the topic and social learning, and Mary, I would love to hear reflections, like just if you write down like what the drop-in was, like what people can teach and what people can learn with the container that is, the system, whether it's through the Accelerator, whether it's on these calls, whether it's on the calls you host, Patricia. What are people getting now? I heard project management a lot. So that's, Mary, like if you had to hear the community, what do you get from the document? Like, let's read it back. It's basically like, this is the summary of like what everyone said.
Yeah, okay, let me see. So we have around what you want to start with, the summary of teaching.
Yeah, just here's the most thing that looks like a theme, and like if you're looking for themes inside.
Well, everyone's up for it. That's like some people, haven't like don't like to teach. So it seems like everyone who's dropping in on teaching feels like they love to teach it. Some things are, let me see some themes. Personal growth, I would say, is a theme. Using art and creativity to like as a catalyst for personal growth. I think that's definitely a theme. There's the surfing, teaching surfing.
Mary, from what I read from the chat, I think most of them are struggling with that. We're always used to working on our own, and now how do we collaborate with other creatives, and with especially with teams. I think I heard that from Pape, and also Tom dropped in on that.
Yeah.
And Roxana.
Yeah. For things they want to learn or teach.
No, it's like, how do we work together to create what we want to build? Like it's collaboration, there's project management, there's fear of hurting each other because everybody's very empathic. You don't want to like, it's dancing basically. Like, how do you dance with each other without hurting each other?
Yeah.
And disappointing each other. And being honest and authentic about what you can do and can't do.
I think when you work together, like I've worked together in a team, but at a job, you kind of have a role that you're specified to, and you do it, and then you're done with it. So working with a team together like this is really interesting and really exciting because, but there's also some touchy points, like you mentioned, Jose. Like you don't want to hurt feelings. We're all empathetic, so that's what I kind of want to learn. Like how do we work with that? How do we work together? How do we deal with, I guess with conflict? And we've dealt with that
conflict
before. Yeah, we've touched on that topic before. I think that's worth maybe revisiting.
Yeah. Something, I'm sorry, Tino, to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
What I was going to say is like, we can be very lovey-dovey and, woo-side and everything, but there has been conflict from our circles. There are people who are not here anymore because of those conflicts. There is conflict in collaboration. There is, you did this, you didn't do this. There is like, oh, I was hoping for this and I didn't get it. Like, those things are part of life. And the question is, how do we facilitate it? How do we co-create without fear? How do we relate without fear of those things happening? How do we become masterful communicators? And honestly, I mean, that's a continual process, you know, that I'm going through in kind of my own kind of, you know, life and circles. So as a creator, because, you know, I think one thing that Papa says often is that we're all mirrors of each other. So if I'm struggling with it, that means, you know, we are collectively struggling with, and the people that I attract to myself around me are also struggling with the same thing, because we're each other's kind of, you know, reflections, like we've said. So that's a big one, Tino. So thank you for bringing that up. Project management, you know, authenticity, expectations, outside of, like, you know, the old ways. How do you do it today, Mary?
If I can quickly interrupt that. So I think that's and I think Papa mentioned it in the chat. I think practice is something that's really important here. So in the past, a lot of things were brought up, and, you know, conflict was brought up. Now I think practice is going to be the solution to this. Keep on practicing, working on things together, breaking any tensions, you know, resolving things together. That's part of the solution, I would imagine. Yo soy Tino and I am complete.
Thank you, Tino. So I think that's one topic. Like, if Mary, if you can give us some, I don't know, some like top or practices you've done before that may be familiar.
Around resolving the conflict, or just getting the team into flow, or both?
I think both, because that's what we're seeing from the chat.
Yeah. So one thing that's pretty interesting to me for teams is like to figure out what decisions in the team are and decisions that need to be made as a team versus can be made by specific people without the team's consent, right? So I think a lot of the times that teams get caught up, and the reason why conflict happens is because it's not clear how decision making, it's not like explicit, right? Who makes the decisions and how they get made, and there's no like proposals or agreement structures in place like around decision making. So in Agile, like with self-organizing teams, when you get into a sprint, you want to just like define who is the lead for certain things, who like the different, you can play different roles, and you don't necessarily need to do that forever. It's just during that 2 week or 3 week or 1 month period, and then make it really clear how decisions are going to be made so that like you can minimize the conflict. Everybody's clear like on who's doing what and who's leading what, and you know who's empowered to make decisions. And if you need, like, there's certain things that you need the whole team to be involved in, then you do that. Does that make sense? Yeah, clarity is critical. Yeah, and then some of the frameworks for feedback, you know, when you do have conflict with team members, I guess there's so many different ones, but the like most common is to, you know, focus on the situation and behavior and impact of the whatever's happened, whatever conflict there is, instead of personalizing it, and just doing it like during a time when you're not triggered, or the people aren't triggered, where you're calm. Yeah, so I don't know if that's helpful, but those are two things like that come to my mind. So like decision making, clarity around decision making helps the team feel more grounded and just at ease and able to flow and work well together. And then if there is conflict, just decoupling that from like the emotional impact, and trying to get to like an impact statement where the people who have the conflicts can like agree on what to move forward with in the future, so that it doesn't happen again. Okay, thanks, Mauricio.
Was that helpful, Tino? Do you have anything for Mary?
Oh no, yeah, that was super helpful. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it, and I agree. I agree with I think everybody was making really good points. For sure. Focus chaos was a big theme in the chat, and I agree. And another thing is that conflict is pretty much undeniable. I mean, it's ever existent in whatever team atmosphere there is. So I think the only resolution there is just working, continuing to practice, refining our skills, sharpening each other's skills, things like that. So it is what Jose was mentioning earlier, just, and he's going through it right now. It's just keeping on working and improving ourselves. So yeah, definitely.
I mean, one last thing I'll share, and we can start going into talking a little bit about the Accelerator program and upload, etc. But in flow, agreements, explicit agreements, like what you give and what you get out of the co-creation without it being transactional, is super important. Everything is love and flowers until money gets involved. So that's something that's super critical to understand. And that's always been where for me, I've seen relationships, partnerships, breakdowns, etc. Marriages, 75% of marriages end because of disagreements on lifestyle and money. I said this really powerfully to someone in the stoop here in the coffee shop downstairs, and falling in love is easy. Scheduling and running bank accounts is super hard. It's the harder part, like just in the realm of dating. And then after I said it, I'm like, oh man, that's too real. That kind of hurt me. It's for me, agreements, both in terms of value exchange, like what you get, what you give. Agreements in terms of what does this container look like as a friendship. One of my biggest fears for our community after Circles was, oh shit, how do we go into co-creation, and how do we go into more friction without people getting hurt? And I've been learning a lot from Keone, and listening to his stories about his mom, and about this he likes to just jump into the conflict, and and I'm like, okay, so I got a trainer, and just doing the trainer and your core work, and I'm like, oh, I just got to be ready to just have the solar plexus energy of conflict is going to come up, and you have to be clear and say what you need with love to the person in front of you. It's not going to be a random conflict with somebody on the street. The conflicts with yourselves are the hardest, but then when you have to negotiate and talk through somebody who might be here in the community and who you love, how do you do it without projection? Your fear being what you throw on the other person, judgment, or a story that might not be true. That's an assumption. So not making assumptions, keeping your word, knowing that your words are magic and that you can't unfurl too many of them. You have to really kind of just go one little bit at a time. Making very explicit, requests. I need support with QuickBooks. Oh man, yeah. So we all have that kind of love and affinity, but that also requires also willingness and bravery to kind of go into conflict and then go into, okay, we might see things differently. How do we get to seeing the same thing and aligning it? So there has to be some strength also, willingness to put up with chaos and a lot of the challenges, willingness to see beyond it, and willingness to focus it continuously towards the direction that it needs to go in, and knowing that that there's no guarantees that anything is going to work out. So yeah, I am complete. I'm Jose Caballer, and I'm complete. Welcome to Clubhouse, everybody, on Fridays. Mary loves.
Thank you. And so I think we can transition to our upload. Will that do? Or can we transition to our upload? Okay, so our upload for today is, can we do the next slide? Okay, I'll drop it on the chat. our upload is what was one valuable thing you got from today's broadcast? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Poppy, want to go first?
Yeah. Am I on mute? No. Okay. I got this feeling today that we're all ready to take a next step toward like practice. And from my experience, what I've seen is that we've been able to get to know each other. Even like some of you are quite new, but others we've been here for a year, but it doesn't change anything. The conversation is the same. And I feel that the question, and to connect it a little bit with today's topic, is like, I'm sure everyone has learned something from coming here every Friday. And like, what have you learned? Like, because I've outgrown myself. I was checking out my goals that I set up last year before starting core, and one of them was like giving meaning to my work, and it has so much meaning today. So the biggest takeaway I feel that is that I get this sense that the community is ready to start and get uncomfortable and getting to that friction and joining that conversation that can be sometimes uncomfortable, but there's so much growth in it. And I'm excited to learn from Patricia, from Tino, from Dexter, from Ars, from Iwana, from Tom, from Bobby, like Mauro, all the OG core users. Like, I'm so excited to learn from that, and I'm happy for being here. And I'm Pape, and I'm complete.
Thank you, brother. Now, we have another brother who's raising his hand. Dexter, please share your upload.
What's happening, everybody? I think the biggest takeaway from me was it seems like, you know, the central theme of everything is, you know, empathy and being understanding of each other's, that everybody's in a different place on their journey, you know, and especially when we're in terms of collaborating and understanding that, you know, people react differently to things, and, you know, so some people handle conflict better than others. Some people you can talk to a certain way and others you can't. So being able to, you know, take away how you handle situations, you know, and take yourself out the equation and understand, like, how do they react to this and how do they respond to this and where are they in their journey. So now when I approach you, and because I respect you as a human being before all else, I'm able to interact with you and reach you on a level with love, and, you know, as the intent, and my goal is to, you know, share value and to share love and to share light. So, you know, having empathy at the root of everything is like being able to reach everybody on their own individual level. And that way, when these things that are inevitable happen, such as conflict, you know, and things like that, these are things that are inevitable. They're going to happen. But now that we're leading with love and empathy, it's like when it does happen, now we're able to navigate it and, you know, come out on the other side of it better than we went in. And my name is Dexter, and I'm complete like Sasson, you feel me? But yeah.
I think that deserves snaps. Oh my gosh, Dexter, that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Now, Serio, please share your upload.
I have a takeaway, a very simple takeaway, something that Jose wrote in the chat. All the necessary skills are here. I think this is the most talented and integrated community that I've been part of. That's true. All the things that we need to learn are here. Whether it's art, project management, storytelling, personal development, astrology, strategic thinking, whatever, it's here. So thank you very much for making up this for all of us. I think I'm super grateful for that. That's my key takeaway from today.
Snap. Thank you,
Yeah,
Serio.
I'm surfing. I forgot surfing, but that's the most important. That's what I want to learn right now.
I got you. And Titus is here to help you. I saw it on the chat. And I think we can hear the upload from Keone. Keone, would you like to do an upload?
Yeah, do an upload real quick. There's this quote by Euripides, who's a famous Greek philosopher, and he says, "Enough is abundance for the wise." And I think we find ourselves, because I find myself in spaces like that where I always feel like the information, like I buy all these kits, and I store all this information, and I always feel like that's, like to learn in silence and to try to accommodate everything. And I always feel like I never know enough. But what I've learned is that is what happens when you learn in a vacuum, or you try to learn in a vacuum. When you open it up into this social context, when you really allow for your environment to be a major component of the way that you learn, the way that you understand, the way that you connect with each other. And you can see that happen both ways. You realize that you are so much more powerful because of the different variances in experience and knowledge and perspective. And it's always enough. There was a young man that I was giving some advice to earlier this week. He was going in for a UX design interview, and he was a bit apprehensive about, whether he was smart enough, if he had the right experience, if, the question of validation, like, am I good enough? And I had to remind him, I was like, we have so much skill and power and talent that we don't really access and acknowledge because we don't look at that knowledge and that experience as valuable. But the more that you interact with others, the more that you can share these things, you realize how powerful they are. I think some of the greatest validation that I've experienced, particularly in the last year and within this community, came from very just offhand comments where someone was like, yo, like, that was super meaningful to me. And I had that same experience, or I recognize that experience, or that's what gave you that power. That's what allowed for me to understand that I had the same power. And so, my upload to bring it all to a point is just that, your community is really your knowledge base. Your ability to grow and develop as an individual, professionally or otherwise, is really powered by the knowledge that you share and receive. And with that, I'm done.
Thank you so much, Captain Keone. And Bobby, would you like to share?
Yeah, I'd like to share. How's everybody doing? Wave. All right. Yeah. So I started joining a couple months ago, and just wanted to see. I've been in the industry for almost 20 plus years, and I've been a solo practitioner for a very long time. So, that saying, you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go in a group, right? So I'm here to learn that. And here recently, Patricia offered to do course session with me to see if I was still aligned, because after so many years of developing my business, I'm at a stage where I don't know what comes next. Like, I've accomplished what I wanted. I'm a full-time dad. I don't think I've ever revealed that to anybody. So my daughter just graduated. My oldest one just graduated high school. So now I'm like, now what? Now. So thanks to Jose and for his tireless amount of emails, he kept inviting me to this group. I started coming. The first time I came was, I think, Halloween. That was awesome. I was dressed like the werewolf, or the bear, is like.
Yes, I remember your costume.
And this is I've carved out time. If you follow me on any of my social, you see how busy I am with events and stuff that's happening. But I've carved out time just to listen, learn, observe what other people are going through, what CORE has taught them. Especially like that wall. I had that wall of co-creating and being with another person doing work, because I've done it for so long, and I let my walls down, letting Patricia do core on me, because I've never allowed anybody to do core on myself. Like that, it's a weird feeling, but gratifying that, you know, I feel like still aligned. Just trying to be here and help out as much as I can. Bobby Robinson, I'm complete.
Bobby, facilitating your core was an honor to do it for one of the core OGs. And I learned so much from that call with you. And I highly encourage everyone to, if you have time, to reach out with each other and facilitate core for each other, to help each other and to sharpen your facilitation skills, because that's how I improve. So that's what worked for me. And now let's switch to the Keone. Would you like to talk more? I think we're good with our uploads. Can you talk more about our Accelerator program?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that and share. So let's talk a little bit about the Accelerator program. So the Accelerator program is really a manifestation and extension of a lot of the experience of Circles, which some of you may have not had. Circles was sort of our experiment into social learning in smaller groups as opposed to broadcast. So we brought a group of folks together, we kind of put them through a project, we kind of let them self-organize and execute, and then, you know, and ball from it. We learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to kind of structure that. And so taking that experience, you know, we built the Accelerator program. So what is the Accelerator program? It's this extension of this concept of social learning. We still are going to continue the broadcast just like we have here, but now we're going to be able to take a lot of the knowledge that we take and actually put it into action. So, you know, the Fire Kit, which will be released in a month, which is all about the exploration of purpose and having a horizontal vision and really understanding your why as an anchor. Core, you know, which most of us are familiar with as a brand strategy framework. And then flow, of course, which is Mary's expertise, which is about leadership and team development and those things. Project management, really, yeah.
Everyone's saying they need project management.
Mm-hmm.
This is flow.
So, you know, what we're doing now is we have our very first circle, which is the fire, and we've got a cohort that's going through it right now. And it's been a really fun and awesome experience. You know, the goals of that circle, and I'll share that with you guys here, is it's really to be self-directed, you know, to develop your sense of self, and really be able to feel comfortable with your voice so that you can enter into your relationships, whether they're personal, whether they're professional, but with strength, understanding, and opportunity. Clearly, to state your purpose, outline my value, and align your network. So one of the keys is not only are we talking and really understanding these principles, but we're actually putting them into action as well. So, you know, the outcome that you get out of this first circle, which is it'll validate your story, you'll identify your values, be able to state your purpose and your superpowers, and then you're going to be able to take that and execute a professional bio. We're going to do a headshot. We're going to identify our ideal community, and we're going to launch our public profile. So this is a month-long program. Like, these are things that happen really, really quickly, and we do as community. You know, and I'll share a little bit here. You know, each week we have a quest to complete. We just completed week 2. And really what that was just kind of getting to connect with the community, being able to understand that this is a more intimate circle where we can really share ideas and feelings and address, you know, concerns and issues more directly. And it's always paired with a conversation and then a work session where we just hang out and just connect. There's no pressure. We're not on here necessarily to say, hey, you got to do your work. But it is just to connect and have a safe space for you to develop those things. Next week, you know, we'll be moving into our mid-sprint reviews and presentations where we're going to share a lot of the work that we've done, build that relationship with our partners, right? So not only do you have a community, but we're going to pair up and we're going to have these accountability partners. And so again, it's all about being able to learn in a way where you always have the support, and the support in a way that makes you feel comfortable. Some people might feel more comfortable in the group settings. Some people might feel a little bit more conservative and need just an individual person of support. But we're giving you all of the manner in which you can nurture this execution of growth, being able to anchor into a step and to feel comfortable with that. So the way that the Accelerator works is every month we have a new cohort. So if anyone is interested in this, definitely come check us out. Send me an email. I'm available on all of the socials. But one thing that I really wanted to touch on really quickly, and I think this is super important because we manifest that very naturally here in this broadcast, but that is how we operate and what the baseline foundations for our community is. And this is it right here. It's the Gestalt principles of ethics. And I'm just going to go through it very, very quickly. And then, we'll do the outro into milk and cookies. So it's this. Every member is entitled to self-awareness, freedom, and self-direction. The dignity, worth, and uniqueness of every community member must be respected in all circumstances. And this is perhaps one of the most important phrases. The dignity, worth, and uniqueness of every single community member. Sexual harassment in the form of comments, gestures, physical contact of a sexual nature, deliberate or repeated, is unethical, very clearly, and all exchanges should be considered confidential, right? Unless outwardly stated. Every member has a responsibility to monitor their personal and professional development. So again, guys, this is not only about you being able to self-direct, but it's about being able to create the space where if you have any gaps in that skill set, any space where you may need extra support, nurturing, encouragement, it's there and it's in abundance. So, I'll just give you kind of a peek of what it looks like on the inside. But it's awesome. A lot of the resources that we typically share on a personal basis, you'll be able to have for access. Bobby, I know you reached out to me for that contract and we're working on that. We should have that for you no later than Monday. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, it's really exciting and the community is incredible. And, I hope each and every one of you guys get a chance to experience that. And with that, music and no cookies. So, change up the vibes a little bit. I'd really like to hear from you guys, what was today's session like for you? We're playing with things a little bit. We're changing up the dynamics. We really want for the community to shine. I know, yes, we are captains, but each of you guys are captains. You guys are all captains of your own ships, and I like to see this as Jose calls it, a flotilla. We're all these pirate captains on the high seas. We're space cowboys of sorts, and we all have our spaceships. We're all out here rocking and riding together. So with that, I'm gonna shut my mouth and I'm gonna let the community speak.
I'll go if I can. I'm just thrilled, absolutely thrilled about Patricia and Pape. And for me, it's amazing to see them. I mean, I've been here for a few months now, but I don't know, I feel proud for them. And it's amazing to see the love and how much everybody is shining in his own way. So super grateful and so happy about this session and all the things that are going on, the Accelerator program and the people that are joining, and that the community is growing and in a real way. So that's I don't know. That's super exciting. I'm Roxana and I'm complete.
Thank you, Roxana. And I just wanted to share what Iona dropped on the chat. I think this is gold. What is Bruce Lee's favorite drink? Water! Had to do it. Sorry. I gotta change the energy a bit because it was so funny for me. Anyway, back to what do you feel like with like Keone's question? Pape, any thoughts?
No, I want to get more practice on this hosting.
It's nerve-wracking.
It's not that easy as it looks, and I think like being on this side now, I understand how important it is for like the community to like just open up unmute yourself and talk. It just like it helps the conversation flow, but and it's hard to get feedback. Like you're watching at all of the screens and the chat, and it's not easy. But yeah, I'm happy and excited, and as always, just the community makes, I think, for all of us the week a lot better. I've heard a lot of us have been having like rough times, you know, and it's nice to not just talk about work and, you know, yeah, we all want to grow, we all want to learn, yeah, we want to become better persons, but we're just human beings with feelings as well, and we have tough times, and it's nice to relate to others and knowing that I'm not alone anymore. I was alone in this creative journey too long, and I'm so happy to see you every Friday, every Wednesday, or in the chat or at any moment. I'm just happy to be here, and thank you. I'm Pape and I'm complete.
We have a call. Someone said yes, Keone. When Jose said Tino and Sergio are next, Tino said challenge accepted, and we're live. This is recorded. So Tino,
now you can go back.
I accept it. Oh, and I accept for Sergio too.
Sergio, do you accept the challenge?
I do accept the challenge. We're going to drop this next Wednesday.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to share too that I think it's a good idea what Patricia mentioned too, and again, good job to you guys, and I think it's awesome what you guys did this week, Pat and Pape. You guys are awesome. Practicing core, doing core, you know, if we practice, you know, on each other, I think it's an amazing tool, and it will help, you know, once we do this, like we got put on the spot this week. Hey, let's do it. I'm down. I've been trying to do these sessions or practicing a version of core with smaller groups. You know, I practiced with Patricia before. I've practiced with a group of friends of Patricia and myself, and a group of other friends that aren't here in the session today. But so I try to keep my vibe going by running some sort of core or some sort of session here, even if it's not with a client, but try to keep the momentum going, because it really helps. It helps the vibe. It helps me and my confidence as a facilitator. You know, sometimes you don't get to do this on the job all that much, so that's why the practice makes the master, I think, here. So heck yeah, I'm glad I get the chance to do it next week.
Awesome. And Sergio said, get ready for the Spanglish next week. We are ready. We are ready, Sergio.
O completamente en español, como quieran, lo hacemos.
I can only say gracias.
Vamos a darle, hermano. Vamos a darle. Show them how it's done.
Panama official language is Spanglish.
You know, Romanian is also a Latin language, therefore for me it's very easy to understand Spanish and Italian.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Well, funny story, I didn't know that either. And I'm in Bucharest, and you know, my hosts there are taking me out to dinner, and I'm like, you motherfuckers are Latin people, aren't you? And they're like, yeah, you didn't know? And I'm like, yeah. Like
The
just the
only ones in
conversations, the
Europe.
food. Yeah, no, it was a very interesting thing because the way that I observed it was, okay, there's this like French, like, you know, Paris vibe kind of intersected with Soviet brutalist architecture, which I'm like, fuck that one up. And then you have the older people who are a little gray and a little bit more like in Soviet times, like in terms of possibilities and what they can create. And then all the young people are like crypto and art and design and we're making stuff and festivals. I'm like, there's a weird split between the two worlds, between the old world and the new world here. So I really enjoyed Romania because of that. And I want to say about other and about not feeling, you know, because we're in the United States or because we're not, you know, in the same school systems or because, you know, we speak Spanglish as our official language, porque somos de otro lado. Y una canción colombiana que le puse a Colombian song that I put for Mauricio and that I repeated last night with my ex-wife because we both know, I was at her birthday picnic and we both know the song lyrics. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá. And it's like, that describes that whole like thing of like, you know, not being American, but not being Latino, but being Latino and being in America, you know, like, or being creative and not going to law school or engineering school and whatever the hell our parents wanted us to do. You're not from anywhere. So yeah, I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for the reflection. I'm grateful that we have an opportunity as other to be heard, seen, accepted, and know that, you know, no matter what, and how Keone likes to say at the end of all the broadcasts, know that you're loved, know that you're, you know, complete, or I don't know how it is, and that you can create anything, because that's the truth. You know, the limitation is never, skills or like what you know. The limitation is how much you can believe you can create and how well you can do it with others, because I have no idea or no other way than to doing things with others. There is a slower pace to it. There is a more sometimes, you know, you need to grow personally a lot more when you want to collaborate or when you want to lead a team. But my heart's desire for every single one of us here, and I see it in the manifestation of what people are building, like Pape in Panama, like, you know, Mauro in Ensenada, like Arsina J in Serbia, you know, and Sina Iona and like what she can build in and the camera's still on you. I've been talking this whole time. I kind of like it. The camera's still focused on you. Because you're so cute. It's funny. That violates our just style rules, I think, there for me saying that you're so cute. But that point that I wanted to create is that we are other, and that's okay, and that other can also do it. Like who I am and what I bring as a gift. Oh my God, and my hair is out of control. This gel is just not working. It looks like a bird's nest. It's okay. Our language and our voice is integrated. So in Spanish, we should do at the end of the session, we should all say goodbye in our native language. Because the only language that we share is love. And like I said in a post on Instagram, you know, acceptance. Patricia, can you find that on Instagram? And like, what was it that I said? Because I forgot already, but it was really good. That was just from flow, so I don't remember what I said. I gotta read myself on Instagram to remember what I said. Yeah. And I wanna see everyone's Instagram kind of like pushing through what their voice is, but also repeating some of the things that we're saying. And by we, I mean the system, like all of us together. Because Patricia says some doozies, Papa says some amazing ones. We need to make those all heard.
I took note of that. It's participation is the engine, love is the fuel, acceptance is the glue. Jose Caballer.
Put that on Instagram. Acceptance is the glue. I am Jose Caballer and I am complete. Let's get this day. We have our podcast today, so I'm cleaning the house or watching you clean the house.
So if
Jose,
you can go for it,
sorry.
you wanna go for it.
Jose, do you know like what an open door to democracy in Romania was?
What was it?
Telenovelas. Like I grew
Dos
up.
mujeres, un camino.
Yeah, I grew up with Talia and Esclava Isaura and Corazón
Like
Salvaje.
Telemundo stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like this crazy national TV station bought them, and we could see other stuff.
We have that too in Manila. It's Marimar for us.
That's the next.
My God.
And Talia.
The lady with the eye patch.
But with that, let's do some outro. Thank you so much for being a kind audience today, for letting me host, and it was a pleasure serving you. And if you're new to the community, please check us out on Facebook, Core Tribe. I'll drop the link. And please share on socials. I'm not sure if we can have the screen up because they're preparing for the podcast. But
No, go ahead. Yeah, we can put it up.
okay. If you can join the group, here's the link to the Facebook. I dropped it on the chat. And please share us on Instagram, screenshots, like anything that stood out to you during this. Likes and subscribe to the YouTube because I know you can. The We Are the System YouTube. Please subscribe to that one, and we'll drop the links on the community. And also, please follow at We Are the System and our lovely Keone Chong at Keone Chong, at Mary A. Gribbin, and at Jose Caballer. And please use the hashtag #CoreIsMagic and hashtag We Are the System. This Design Therapy is brought to you by CoreIsMagic.com. So, happy Friday, lovely people. Thank you so much.
That
Happy
was smooth.
weekend. Right? Gracias.
Thank you, everyone. See you next
Later,
week,
y'all. You
Patricia.
guys
See
are
you
incredible.
tomorrow or today for you. I don't know, but see you in a
Saturday.
couple of hours.
Yeah,
Peace,
see
y'all.
you. Bye. Happy Friday.
Luego. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Paalam.
Adios.
Aglan
Feliz
Carbonara.
semana.
Bye.
Mauricio, that's Mauricio's language.
Nos vemos.
Ich bin. Ich bin.
Ich bin un placer.